Hello and welcome to Tuner Tips by Todderbert. In front of us we have the Romoss Sense 6F. This is a 20,000 milliamp hour, 22.5 watt power delivery, fast charging power bank. This you can find on Amazon for $32.99 retail. You can get a coupon like I had for $3 off, maybe even better, bring the price down to $29.99. I was looking for a name brand, 20,000 milliamp hour power bank, a little bit better output, and I found this. I really like this brand, so let's give it a go. Here's the box it comes in. Pretty basic. I took everything out of the box to make it easy. On the back here to give a little quick technical parameters. You can freeze frame that. You got 3 inputs, 3 outputs. Very nice. Okay, and done with the box. So I took everything out, and yeah, what do we get in the box? We get the star of the show, the Sense 6F. Nice. Okay. We get a power cable. Nice, because the Sense 8 Plus did not come with a power cable. USB to Type-C. Nice to see that. Beautiful. A little brochure here. How to pretty much basically operate your power bank. Most people have these and know how to use them. There's a little spec sheet again, similar to what's printed on the box and on the device. There you go. Opening this up, it is very basic. Cautions on this side. I don't think you guys really care about that. You got some warranty service you might be interested in. 12-month. Okay. This side here, showing you some instructions. Okay, battery level. 3 devices you can charge at once, which is nice. We'll talk about 3 different types of input you can do. You can't use all 3 at once, but you can use one of the 3, which just gives you some flexibility. Okay, there is your manual done. All right, cool. Let's do a size comparison after we go over dimensions. We have a width of 3 1/8 of an inch, or 80 millimeters. We have a length of 6 5/8 of an inch, or 167 millimeters. And we have a thickness or depth of 15/16 of an inch, or almost an inch, or 22 millimeters. So for size comparison, I could bring out some radios that I have handy. I always have like a CC Skywave in the house. As you guys know, I'm a radio guy. There you go. Use this to charge your radios. That's what I do mainly, and flashlights when I'm on the go. So people use these for portable music instruments as well. There we are. And then, of course, if you don't have those 2 radios, a deck of cards will suffice. Here we go. Iron Man. He's the man with the master plan. He loves power banks from Romoss Land. He's Iron Man. You get it. But deck of cards helps give you an idea of size. All right, cool. So what else can we show you? Let's see, what do I got going? The features of the Sense 6F. Yes, quite a few to go over because there's a lot with this one to know about it. First of all, the enclosure is really nice plastics, smooth. The weight of this thing is 476 grams, so it's got a good density to it, but probably the max you want to put in your purse or laptop bag. Not bad. The Sense 8 Plus right here is a bit heavier. The reason why I bring this one out is because it's the big brother. It has a capacity of 30,000 milliamp hour and has a power delivery as well. Not as high of an output. It doesn't have 22.5 watts, but it has 18 watts, which is plenty for most tasks. And it's the same price right now. So that's the reason why I'm bringing it out. This, I don't think you can fly with. I think you can only fly with 26,800. Keep that in mind on the airlines. But with the 20,000, you can definitely fly with. And of course, you have your similar inputs, similar outputs. And as far as charging protocols, if you can read them, freeze frame, boom, there's 2 differences. But as you can see, this is like half the size of this. There's a huge difference in capacity as well. So if you want to spend the same money and you don't care about how heavy it is or how big it is, go with the 30 for sure. Sense 8 Plus, just right now. Unless you got to have the high output or higher output. It's not much higher. It's only, it's only 22.5 watts more. So because this fast charges as well. So put that off to the side. All right. So yeah, that one's like $30 too, I think, on sale right now. I'll have links below to both of these if you want to support the channel. You guys rock. So let's go back to the Sense 6F. It's a newer power bank from Romoss. I like the brand, so definitely wanted to pick this up for the channel. So here we are. Yeah, smooth plastics, loving that. It's got a battery indicator, so on the side here is a power switch. On the gray, it's got like a two-tone. This lights up orange. It tells you your capacity status, and this is fairly accurate, I noticed when I was using it. When you get down to the last bit, you definitely have 25% left, so don't freak out. You probably have enough to charge your phone fully again, believe it or not. So yeah, last bar, you still have quite a bit of charge in here. So that's good to know. All right, so you got your plastics. On the bottom here, you saw that. Try to get that in focus again. All your outputs that were printed on the box here and on the manual. Okay, and I'll go over those again. And we talk about the ports. One thing I noticed this doesn't do is it doesn't through charge, which is unfortunate. So you can't plug in the input and output at the same time, charge a device while charging the power bank. It just doesn't work. What happens is if you're fast charging this power bank, it drops down to 5 volts to 2 amps, and then the output drops whatever was charging down to 4.77 volts at like 0.3 of an amp, and that's where it stays. It's the weirdest thing. So definitely not giving it any kind of through support. So a lot of people like to know that. Also, it doesn't have low power support. So like if I double tap the power switch, it just turns it on. TV status. So if you look at the Sense 8 Plus, I think it's double tap, you got low power mode. So you can go up and down like that. So that's in low power mode, which is nice. And then just on. So that is a bonus for there. If you're doing low power devices, some people want to know that. Very handy to have that. But again, you may not need that. You just care about charging standard radios. This will have no problem with, or flashlights. Basic equipment will be fine. But if you're trying to charge like probably a really low power, say Arduino project or a Pi project, it may not stay on for you. So something to think about. So let's go ahead and go to the business end of this. We have a bunch of ports. We have 3 inputs and 2 outputs. Actually, yeah, 3 outputs and 3 inputs. Right, this does both. So we have a lightning, which is nice. So if you have an Apple product, you probably have a lightning cable laying around. Neat thing about that is it does power delivery as well. So it has 5 volts, 2 amps input on that, and 9 volts at 2 amps. Same with the micro USB. So they both are able to do that. You just have to use them independently. Over here we have our Type-C input. It takes 5 volts at 3 amps instead of 2 amps, and it goes 9 volts at 2 amps. So that's nice. You have power delivery, 18 watts input right there. Now just keep in mind, when you're charging this one, I did notice that it starts charging very fast, and then once you get up about half to 3/4, it starts to slow way down. Like I was monitoring it, it went from 9 volts to 1 amp, and then when it was getting to the top here, it went to 9 volts at 0.3 of an amp, 9 volts to 0.2 of an amp, 9 volts to 1/10 of an amp, and it took like an extra hour or two. So expect a 6 to 8 hour charge time when it should be much quicker. I think it's just being real easy on the battery. That's not a bad thing. It's just going to take a little longer to charge. So pretty much plug it in when you go to bed. It'll be ready in the morning. So that's one thing. I wish you charged a little faster. That's something you might notice on yours. So, okay. Type-C. So you have that input I told you about. The output is 5 volts at 3 amps, 9 volts at 2.22 amps. So you get a little bonus there. And 12 volts at 1.67 amps. Not bad. Now we have 2 USB outputs. I believe they're Qualcomm 3.0 and 4.0 supportable. And if you're just using one, you'll get 4.5 volts at 5 amps if you have that protocol. It also supports 5 volts at 4.5 amps. So that's nice if you're running a project that requires more power on the 5 volt line. It's able to support up to 4.5 amps. That is a beautiful thing. It also goes up to 9 volts, 2 amps, and 12 volts at 1.5 amps. Now, if you're using all 3 of these together, you're going to go down to 5 volts at 3 amps total, which is pretty much 1 amp on each at 5 volts. So something to think about there. So yeah, what else can I mention? So I mentioned the through charging. It does slow down. Maybe it helps the charger by slow feeding it the last little bit of energy. So something to keep in mind. Delivered power on this, what I monitored, I use my Ruidang meter. I hook it up to an iPad, pretty much run it through a couple cycles, get an average, and my average was 12,878 milliamp hour. of power delivered with a rating of 66.17 watt hours at 5 volts at 1.5 amp discharge rate, giving it a 90% efficiency rating. I wish I would have seen higher. NinjaBat that I used to have was my highest one. It delivered like 14,000 something plus. That was a great power bank. You just can't get it anymore, so that's why I'm not comparing it to other 20,000 milliamp hour banks on my bench, because they disappear. Romoss, they make the same power bank for quite a long time. That's why I like the brand. But 90% efficiency, I'll take it. It's good. It does have that IR output, which is great. And let's start demoing it. So let's hook it up to some devices. I have handy a X-Star VC8 Plus loaded up with some batteries, ready to rock. So I think I got disconnected first here. Okay. So I have 8 18650s. Let's move it off the camera there. So you can see X-Star VC8 Plus, and I'm going to charge it with this Romoss. So what's going to happen here is it's going to try to charge all 8 of these batteries at a 0.5 amp each. So let's go ahead, and then we can show off power delivery. You get to see these color change from orange to like a bluish white color. And I got to plug in this meter upside down, so bear with me. Plugging it in, you'll see it go to 5 volts natural. That's where it start out as, and I'll plug it into the charger. I can turn it upside down here. So this input takes 5 volts 2 amps in, or 9 volts at 2 amps in. So it does take the 18 watt power delivery. So standard power delivery. And we should see a jump. There we go. 9 volts. Now this will steady out at 2 amps once it starts to ratchet up. As you can see on the display here, this will all go to 460 when they're operating at peak. So we'll just watch that for a little bit. There we go, all 460. There you are. And then over here, it should say 2 amps, which it does. Set this back down. And if I flip this over, you will see that these LEDs change color. Now when you're charging the power bank with power delivery, it'll also be this color, this like teal lights. And if you're doing standard charge, they'll be orange. So something to keep in mind. It didn't turn off, it's still going, as you can see. Cool, handling this no problem. This is great if you're in the field and you, oops, move that out of the way. If you have a solar charger, you could charge up your power bank, and then in the evening you can charge up your lithium batteries if you're using these for flashlights, you're using these for camping lanterns, you're using these for your radios. I have quite a few radios I've modified to take flat tops. This, of course, will charge protected button cells and unprotected button tops as well. So, I mean, this is a great charger, by the way, if you're looking for a good 8-bay charger. I like it. Very simple. It also has, I believe, storage mode as well. So, very cool. All right, so we're going to go ahead and unplug this. And then we're going to go ahead and demo it, charging 3 devices, and give you my final thoughts. Set this aside. Give me a moment here to get it all set up here. All right, boom. Center of the show. Okay, so let's grab some radios. Got some cool ones to show. We have a XH Data D808. Now this runs a 2,000 milliamp hour battery from the factory. You can of course increase that to 3,500 if you want, like a Samsung unprotected button top. It runs on unprotected button tops. And the standard battery, you get quite a few charges. You get like 6 charges from this power bank to this radio. That's fantastic. So as first, I think I'm going to plug in a Type-C device. I believe they take priority when you're charging 3 devices at once. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to roll this wire over. Try to get this all on the same. I'll have to see how this all fits. So we got a flashlight here. This is a ThruNite TC15 version 3. Usually pulls 2 amps when it's charging. So it's got a Type-C to Type-C connection. So we'll plug that one in. That should be pretty self-explanatory. Pop that in there. Perfect. It's charging that. You can see the little red light came on. And then, of course, we have the radio. Now we have another radio we're going to introduce. We have a little guy. This is pretty cool. This is a Rutecus TR110. Let me bring my lights back over. There we go. This is cool. Single sideband pocket radio. This thing does everything. Look at this. Lower sideband, upper sideband, AM. It's got VHF, UHF, airband, just everything you want. Yeah, down here. CB, weather. it's a great little radio. So you could be doing all these. Now this runs on a little battery, BL5C. If you're familiar, if you're a radio guy like me, you know what that is. It's a 1,000 milliamp hour battery. So imagine you could charge this radio up to 12 times. So we're going to see if we get everything plugged in here. So I think it'll just come on when I plug it in. So let's go ahead, put it up there, plug her in, and see what happens. Okay, so the flashlight stayed charging. That's good. This is showing the charging mode's active. And then, of course, we'll put in the XH data at the same time. So this is a typical application I would use it for, is a couple radios and a flashlight. And if I'm off the grid, okay, it did a reset. That's fine. So they're all charging. It did a power distribution is what it did there. And it should show this one charging as well. I can bring this up into frame. It's got a longer cable. There you can see the battery icon on this one moving as well. So again, this is an 18650 inside here. If you don't want to hook up to the radio, this is cool because you can take the battery out and put it in a dedicated charger like I showed you. They even have smaller chargers you can get to charge. But there you are, 3 devices at once. It's a beautiful thing. As you can see, it's not power delivering anything because it split the voltages to 5 volts at 3 amps across the 3 devices. So you're getting like probably, I'm guessing this is taking the most charge, probably 2 amps. You're probably getting a half amp here and a half amp here. So there it is. Boom. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and just disconnect all these wires and do some final thoughts on the Sense 6F and say, well, would you want this or not? Okay. Yeah, bear with me with all these cable management. That's one thing. You might want to invest in a good bag to carry your power bank in, and maybe a solar panel and cables and radios, just because of all these cables you have to carry with you. That's the one downside. Now, I've seen power banks with integrated cables. Not a fan of that because I'm always worried about issues with the, fraying or breaking off. That's not good on a power bank. You don't want that. So definitely stay away from those and just get ones with dedicated cables that you can plug in. That would be what I recommend. So should you get the 6F? Well, check out the Sense 8 Plus again. We'll bring this one back out. The reason why I'm doing this is I just want to give you an idea of power capacity and what the money buys you. Pretty much same quality product. Doesn't give you that extra amp. You don't get that 4 amp output, 4.5 amp output on the 5 volt line. You only get the 3. So that might be a deal for you. You might want this for sure for that. But that's its main winner is its 22.5 watt output versus 18. The big deal here is this is the same price and delivers a huge amount of power, 22,355 milliamp hours or 111 watt hours at 5 volts at 1.5 amps. Did that a bunch of times, and that's what I found. This thing is absolutely a beast on power delivery. It's probably one of the best 30,000 milliamp hour power banks I've tested. And Romoss has a different one too. Their master charger, their 30 watt, I believe, power delivery. And this does better than that as far as capacity delivered. So for us radio guys and flashlight guys, this is a clear winner. But if you're charging phones or you need something charged quicker, you're going to want the 6F. If you want something lighter, you're going to want the 6F. If you fly a lot, you're going to want the 6F. If you, for size, you're going to want the 6F because it's just easier and it has similar outputs. And of course, it fast charges like a champ. If you need slow power delivery, well, you're going to want the Sense 8. This has the slow power mode, which is fantastic for like watches, small Fitbit devices, things like that. So there you go. So my opinion is if you're a radio guy, flashlight guy, get this one. I have links below. Sense 8 Plus wins all day long. If you're a mix of laptop or where you're going to do your phones and tablets, flashlights, high power devices, you're going to want to pick this one up, the 6F. And if you're a world traveler traveling on a plane all the time, this is the one. Definitely be one to consider. So there it is. The 6F, definitely a decent buy. It's a premium. Again, price-wise, it's the same as its big brother. So it's kind of like it has to fit what your needs are. For my needs, it's a Sense 8. For your needs, it might be the 6F. So there's my opinion. It gets a maybe recommendation. Not an up or down, but maybe. Because it does not support through charging. Neither does the Sense 8. And its capacity is so-so. I wish the capacity was better. like its bigger brother. Its bigger brother just is a crazy amount of power. Love it. So hope you enjoyed this video. Be a good like if you did. If you like Romoss products, you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, get notified of future reviews and demos. I like to demo these. And 3, comment below what you think about the 6F versus the 8 Plus. Which one's right for you? Let me know. All right, guys, take care, and we'll see you in my next video.